You did not come, and marching time drew on and wore me numb, yet less for loss of your dear presence there, than that I thus found lacking in your make that high compassion, which can overbear reluctance for pure loving kindness' sake. Grieved I, when, as the hope hour stroked its sum, you did not come. You love not me, and love alone can lend you loyalty. I know and knew it, but unto the store of human deeds divine in all but name, was it not worth a little hour or more to add yet this? Once you, a woman, came to soothe a time-torn man, even though it be, you love not me?
Mark, we've got two phrases referring to time here, both alliterative but actually used in a very different way. Tell us about those.
Well, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because again, you've got Hardy talking about, the broken appointment, but in terms of the hope hour, which is interesting, grieved I, when as the hope hour stroked its sum, you did not come. So again, we've got the rhyme being used there, in terms of time, waiting, waiting for someone to arrive. And of course, nobody sort of turning up, almost like waiting for Godot, isn't it? You love not me, and love alone can lend your loyalty. And then, of course, we've got time being used in two different ways. Hope hour is still hopeful that she will turn up in that first stanza. And of course, in the second stanza, the time-torn man, and again, to soothe the time-torn man, he's waiting, she's not going to show up. Is that the story of his life? Is he contemplating that? And of course, I think the context of the poem is very different in the sense of that title being used in other things about Hardy, a time-torn man, because this is very much about the context of the poem. You love not me, ?
Mariah, a broken appointment, and of course it's a universal theme being stood up on a date. And Hardy is handling it with this apparently very simple structure, the 2 octaves, 8-line stanzas. But I think the more you delve into it, the more there just seems to be in this poem of technique and the way he does that.
Mm-hmm. We have quite this sort of neat paired blocks of text on the page. But other than that, I think we get quite complicated quite quickly. And I think one of the most complicated things about this poem is its diction and syntax. Okay? In terms of diction, so word choices, it's highly Latinate, multi-syllable words. If you read this poem out loud, it's actually quite complicated to enunciate. And it's also got very long sentences. In fact, I think we might only have 2 sentences in the whole. Yeah, each octave is 1 sentence long, with lots of commas, lots of long lines coming in, and floral language that makes it very, very difficult to actually speak and understand too. And that comes off the back of this very simple opening line. You did not come. You did not come. And then I'm going to write something really complicated and hard to say to conceal the fact that I'm deeply hurt by this. All of that hardness, difficulty for me is posturing, retreating to the intellect as a way of protecting yourself emotionally. Writing a really complex, florid poem because the truth is you did not come and I'm gutted about it. And then in the second stanza, the second octave, you've got something really interesting going on in when we get back to that simple opening line. Okay, so you did not come, which we have in the first stanza, becomes you love not me, which is really interesting phrasing. It's a very interesting choice to put me at the end of the line. I've spoken to you previously about how the end of the line is an important place in poetry. It carries a specific weight in a poem. It gets into your reader's brains. So to put yourself into that important position in a poem that is ostensibly about what you didn't do, for me that's very egoic. It's very centering the speaker's emotions, the speaker's pain, perhaps, within that very simple line. But that strange phrasing, putting the me at the end of the line, I think speaks to what this poem is really about in terms of injured pride, injured ego. Yes. So while it is quite simple and elegant in lots of ways, I think psychologically it's deeply complex what's going on in this poem.
I think we can feel for Hardy in this poem. He was, after all, stood up, even though he did rather lose his cool with Florence. Anyway, in the next few videos, we'll now find out how this relationship developed, whether it was kind of rescued or not. But now let's listen again to A Broken Appointment.
You did not come, and marching time drew on and wore me numb, yet less for loss of your dear presence there, than that I thus found lacking in your make that high compassion, which can overbear reluctance for pure loving kindness' sake. Grieved I, when, as the hope hour stroked its sum, you did not come. You love not me, and love alone can lend you loyalty. I know and knew it, but unto the store of human deeds divine in all but name, was it not worth a little hour or more to add yet this? Once you, a woman, came to soothe a time-torn man, even though it be, you love not me?